It's Meltdown City Friday. Technical glitches galore Friday.
Oddities. Stay strange.
The way that I will be having a talking to with Michael when he gets home, it's unreal.
A talking to.
We will have
Oh,
words.
words will be had. Oh no. Oh no. Um, Hi, Odd Fam. Well, welcome back to Oddities. I'm Cassie,
I'm Kelly.
and welcome back to Strange Town. As as per usual, I just can't. As per usual, everything's in our description. It's our social media, a link to our Patreon. If you'd like to support our show, you can do so for as low as $1 a month, and you get access to a bonus episode every week. We'll tell you right now because I have seen a few happen, so maybe there's some confusion. But if you do like subscribe to us on Patreon, but don't do it as a paid option, you will not have option or you won't have access to the bonus episodes. Just so you're aware. Um, and we also have a merch shop that's linked below as well as links for all of the artists that we've partnered with for our show. We appreciate everyone. And last but not least, there's a link to our website where all of this information is housed. So, yay. Um, the only other thing that I would point out, friends, is we do have our email listed, or you can message us through social media because it is a goal this year to try and do more listeners episodes than ever before. And we do have, I think, one or two right now saved up. So if we get a couple more, we'll do another one. How's my birthday?
The irony of Michael just now texting me. Love you. I'm grabbing lunch. Have fun recording. I couldn't make this up if I tried. I'm not even. I can't. I'm done.
I'm dying.
um.
I'm dying.
Wow. I'm here. You can't see
Yeah,
me, but I'm here.
you're here in spirit. It's like I'm talking to a ghost. It's very cool.
uh, I mean, essentially, at this point, I am.
Yeah.
What has been going on in my life? Well,
Well,
not a lot.
oh, okay.
I mean, other than the huge, I guess. we we started back at school again this week. It's been a week. Oh, I didn't share this on the Patreon, but the short one said something hilarious to me this week, and I'd be happy to share it here. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
So, some point this week, I it was like after dinner, and we were all on the couch, and I had gotten up off the couch, and I needed to go lay on my heating pad. Um, and I got up off the couch, and I was like, "Ugh, I'm old." And I went to go lay down in our bedroom on the heating pad, and he came running up to me, and he goes, "Mommy, you aren't old. Your hip just hurts." And I said, "Thanks,
That's
buddy."
so that's so gentle.
And then he goes, "You won't be old until I'm all grown up."
Oh, there's a deadline. Now you know.
And
You
then
know
I
when it's
said,
happening.
"Okay, well, can you do me a favor and not grow up?" And he goes, "Well, I'm already 5."
Oh shit, we're on our way. The question becomes,
Grown
what
up.
is grown up really?
Yeah, what is grown up? I don't
I'm
feel grown up.
32 and I feel 0% grown up. I'm gonna be real.
Feel nothing. So,
Yeah. I do love that. That's so cute.
so he also received an award this week.
Snaps. We
He
love to
was
see it.
he was so excited to receive mail. It was adorable. Um, the tall one is also receiving an award. I got an email from his school, so should be getting that in the mail any day now.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and they're doing great in school, so I have no complaints. We have a busy month ahead of us, but hopefully it'll be shorter this month than it was last month. One can only hope. because last month felt like 12 years and counting.
Yeah, this has been a brutal first month of the year. And I
Fuck
hope this
this
isn't
month.
me like I hope this isn't like foreshadowing.
This month has felt like 12 years of a Mercury retrograde.
Oh my god, I know.
I mean, and the amount of times I Googled, is
Me too.
Mercury in retrograde,
Me
knowing what
too.
the answer was going to be, but convinced it was.
It's not
Like,
until March, right?
no, I think the first one is actually like June.
June? That far out? Oh
I
my
think I could be
god.
wrong on that, but
Oh, okay. Well, either case, we have time, so everybody needs to
and actually
fucking.
I was pretty shocked with how far out it is.
Yeah. Oh, I have March 15th to April 7th as the first one.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
Oh my god. What a shit show. Wow. Well, that's just the cherry on top of an annoying week.
how's how's my borsty?
Your Borsty came real close to quitting her job yesterday with nothing lined up.
Listen, I support you.
Literally so close because it is getting to be very stressful.
Toxic.
Yes, it is getting to be detrimental to my health, and that's a problem when you're pregnant. So don't feel great about it. Still don't feel great about it today, but what made me happy today was I took some time to work on my like course outline and syllabus and selected readings and assignments for the course I'm teaching this summer, which is great.
Oh, I'm so excited
Also,
for
it
you for
wraps
that.
like 2 weeks before I give birth, so that's cool. Great timing. And I just need to be done with my company, and that's really the long and short of it. Aside from that, I spent half the week on the world's most pointless business trip, followed up by one again in like a week and a half. So, yay. So, in short, your bestie's not doing great these days, but I'll be fine. And today, I get to record with you. So that's always the bomb too. We are we are about to get started on the nursery, so that's exciting. Um there are lots of things arriving at the house for the nursery, so that's so cool. It's been so much fun to like open up, and we have like we've purchased like his first little outfits and stuff.
Oh, I have
They're so cute.
questions.
Yes.
So, the first trip to the Disneyland is happening next week.
Okay.
Do you have any requests to be on the lookout for nursery items or
Oh my
baby
gosh.
clothing items or anything Auntie can spoil with?
Oh my god, Auntie's already spoiling so much with
I know,
making
but this is Disneyland merch. It's different.
I guess all I would say is if you see anything that's on like a killer sale that you think could be great in Winnie the Pooh, then
The
go
amount
for
of
it.
pictures I'll be sending
I
is
can't wait.
unreal.
I'm psyched. So it's not this weekend, it's next weekend.
So we're going on Thursday the 6th, and we're specifically going. This is hysterical, right? We're going not in the morning, we're going in the afternoon to
Oh.
like have dinner there for Michael's birthday, which is that following Sunday.
Oh my god, I forgot his birthday. Yes. So where are you guys going?
I don't know. I think maybe he'll want to have a reservation, maybe at the Magic Key Terrace where we took you and Corey.
That place was damn good. Yeah.
If we can manage to get into New Orleans Cafe at Disneyland, because they have some bomb ass Monte Cristo sandwiches, we'll go there.
We ate there as well, didn't we? Or was that a different?
Yes, we did.
Yes, that
The
was bomb ass too.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
I forgot. That was such a good memory too. Um,
Yes.
you know, but it is also the Lunar Festival right now, so
Fun.
there will be some bomb ass food for that.
Shit.
Like we just can't go wrong.
Yeah.
We can't go wrong. But like, I will be keeping a big eye out for some Winnie the Pooh things for obvious reasons.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you for thinking of me. Yeah, I mean, if it's not on sale, don't get it. That's all I would say.
I wouldn't tell you otherwise.
I love it. I love it.
But if I see
Ah,
something that might be cute wall art or just cute to wear for baby,
I appreciate it.
yeah.
I appreciate it. That'll be great. And I can't wait to see what you come across. And I hope you guys have a really good dinner. That'll be awesome. Think of me because I'll be actually over on your coast by that point. Oh,
Oh
no, I
my god,
won't.
you.
No, I won't. No, I won't. I lied.
No.
I will be there Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. On his actual birthday.
wow, what a birthday gift.
I know, right? In the same time zone. You know what, though? That makes me feel better because nothing's going to happen to me on Michael's birthday.
Absolutely not.
No. So
It's a
that's
rule.
good. That's the rule. Yeah. Um, so, Borsty, my Borsty, what have we today for our listeners?
I have a kidnapping disappearance case.
Oh my, okay.
I have to put a disclaimer because there is torture. But it
Oh,
does have a happy ending to it.
oh, okay.
So like I will say that immediately. But if this is disturbing to you in any way, shape, or form, just skip to you.
And followed up by mine is also disturbing, but
So if this is a disturbing episode, if you don't want to hear it, just skip it.
honestly, see you next week and stay strange. Yeah. That's fine.
um, I'm
I love that.
talking about the Mary Stauffer case.
Okay.
I don't know if
I don't know
you've.
anything about this.
Okie dokie then.
I feel like
Um,
you're gonna.
Mary Stauffer and her 8-year-old daughter Beth were kidnapped one day,
Oh no.
and this is their story.
Oh my
Um,
God.
Mary and Beth were leaving a beauty salon in Roseville, Minnesota on May 16th, 1980, when a man appeared and forced them into a car at gunpoint.
Oh,
Mary did not recognize him at the time, but she would soon then realize that 15 years ago, he was a student of hers.
oh, okay.
That former student was 29-year-old Ming Sensu, who had developed a dangerous obsession with her. Um,
Okay, side note, maybe I shouldn't teach this course this summer.
just have pepper spray on you at all times.
Red flags everywhere. Okay.
Um, she didn't know this, but he had been stalking her and her family and tried to abduct her for at least 4 other times before the day he had forced her and her daughter into his car.
Oh my word. Four
Oh,
other times? How he would like fuck that. He's not even good at this.
nope.
Okay. All
Lacking
right.
confidence, I would say.
Ah, okay. Okay, I see.
Um, Over the next 53 days, he held them at his house, repeatedly raping Mary and threatening Beth until they finally managed to escape.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
At the start of the mother daughter's ordeal, right after the gunpoint abduction, he demanded that she drive his car into a remote location and park. He then bound Mary and Beth's hands and shoved them into the trunk of his car. Um, he began to drive and then stopped the car and opened the trunk and reprimanded them for praying too loudly.
Oh, uh, okay.
Yep. He covered their mouths with duct tape and continued driving and then stopped and opened the trunk again to find Mary had partially freed her daughter. Angry at this, he began threatening them.
I mean, honestly, it's a little late for threats, buddy.
Yep.
I'm just
That's when
saying.
that's when two young boys noticed something was going on, and one of them walked over to the trunk and saw Mary and Beth and said, "Whoa," and before he could say anything else, he threw the boy, a 6-year-old named Jason Wilkman, into the trunk and drove away. The next
Oh
time,
shit.
yep, the next
Okay.
time he stopped the car, he took him out of the trunk and fatally struck him on the head with a metal rod and left his body in the woods.
Oh my God. Poor Jason.
Police did not find his remains until after um, Ming's capture.
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
Okay.
Once they arrived at his house in Roseville, he locked Mary and Beth in a closet that was 21 inches wide and 4 feet long. The next day, He took Mary out and tied her up in the living room and revealed his identity as a former math student. And he also told her that he'd been looking for her for a very long time.
Okay.
5 years before, he had broken into her family, her husband's in laws, um, in Duluth, Minnesota, because he mistakenly thought she'd lived there. He threatened her in laws with a gun, tied them up, and told them he'd kill them if they reported the break in. Then in 1979, he learned Mary and her family were living in an apartment in St. Paul Bethel University, where her husband worked, and he tried to break into the apartment 3 separate times, at least once by trying to drill holes in the floor beneath Mary's bed.
What? Oh
Yep.
my God, how many fucking holes would you have to drill to get that to work?
Right?
Okay.
How creepy.
So creepy.
Now that he had captured Mary, he began to rape her daily. He filmed the assaults, which sometimes lasted hours, complaining that Mary didn't show him affection during these assaults. He once tried to suffocate Beth until Mary kissed him on the lips to make it stop.
Oh
During all
God.
this time, he continued to go to work at the electronics store he owned, Mary keeping Mary and her daughter locked in the closet while he was away. The only time they left the house was when he was brought them to a job fair in Chicago and tied them on the back of a rented Winnebago.
What? Why would he bring them to that?
Keep a watchful eye,
I guess, yeah. Oh God.
control,
Yeah.
manipulation, a
What
number
have
of
you?
things.
Yeah.
On July 7th, Mary and Beth finally escaped.
Oh, that's right. Fuck you, Ming. Okay.
Though she was chained to her daughter, Mary managed to break open the door and call the police from his phone. She told them who she was and where she was, and then made her way outside with her daughter, still chained to her, to hide and wait for the police, who arrived minutes later. After his arrest, there were two trials: a federal trial for kidnapping, um, and a state trial for the murder of Jason.
Fucking, he better not have gotten out on any bullshit.
No.
Okay. Okay. I would be so pissed.
um, he was convicted on both trials and receiving two sentences to be served together: a sentence of 30 years to life for federal kidnapping charge, and sentencing 40 years for the state murder charge. He first became eligible for parole in 2010, but remains in prison. Mary
I,
Stauffer, sorry,
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
today, she still lives in Minnesota,
Okay.
and a movie has been made about this ordeal.
Mm.
I did watch the movie. It was very interesting,
Oh,
to
okay.
say the least. And one thing that was like said multiple times in the movie, and she says to this day, is he didn't ruin our lives. Says, um, this is something Beth says. I'm sorry. He
Hmm.
didn't get to ruin our lives. He ruined his life.
Well, that's a good perspective to have on it.
Yeah. And we hated what he did, but we didn't hate him, is what they said.
Oh, God, they're such better people than I am.
Right? Because I hate him.
I hate him. I fucking hate
I
this
hate
guy.
him.
And
He
I'll
took
tell
a
you what.
6 year old's life. He took Beth's innocence. He took that woman's innocence in a way.
Any
Like,
sense of fucking peace. Yeah.
yeah,
I like what I was gonna say before is that it's not enough that he's in jail for life. Like he needed to be executed.
100%.
Like a filthy fucking individual.
Um, in an interview, Mary Stauffer says it was important for her to share her story, and there were times where she questioned her faith through all of this.
Um, girl, like do not
Yeah,
blame her. Yeah, like it's
that's
it's
completely reasonable.
like yeah. But, oh my God, these people are so much better than I'll ever be. Okay.
So, while
Wow.
yes, all of that was horrific, um, they did survive and make it, and I don't know how, but they did.
No, I mean it's incredible.
And that is the kidnapping of
Oh
the
my,
Stauffers.
oh my God, well done. That is dark. That's some heavy shit. Well done, bestie. So did you see the the movie first, or how did you come across the topic?
I kept seeing clips of the movie and I was like
Hmm.
interested, so I started reading about what was going on because the movies are never actually, they're
Yeah,
always a little extra.
right.
So I wanted to read about it first and I read about him and I was like, wow, that's horrifying in many different ways.
God, it's
Um,
so bad.
did my research on them because I wanted to cover them. And then I had watched the movie and the movie was actually very accurate. I was pretty shocked. So,
Wow. Um, well, good job. I mean, you did an excellent job on this. It was just fucking, that's a wild, and I hate that man, like, so much.
agreed.
I, I don't understand how they're like, we don't hate him. I mean, like, listen, I'm not hating on them. They can feel however they want to feel, but it's like, damn, I cannot relate. Good
Yeah,
on them.
same. So,
Good on them. Um, mine is, mine's like we've got an unsolved moment a little bit.
okie dokie.
But it's like it's very odd, this one. So this is coming from honorary cousin Michael. Thank you, honorary cousin Michael. Um, this is I'm probably gonna screw this up. It's the Mount Asahidake SOS incident. So I'm curious to hear your thoughts around this. So over the years, mountaineering, I guess to a lesser degree, hiking, whatever, it's all become an increasingly popular hobby. Every year, thousands of people take to our planet's mountains to test themselves, take in the sights, bask in nature's beauty. It's a physical challenge, it's a mental challenge, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, it isn't a hobby without risks, of course. So, mountaineers usually get themselves into some sort of shit and require some kind of like helping hand, like, and perhaps even rescuing. Injuries happen, they get lost, altitude sickness, what have you. Um, the rescues can be perilous, but like to this point, with how popular things have gotten, like they're increasingly more routine. But this is a strange case. This is the curious case of Kenji Iwamura and his weird SOS. So what started out as like your textbook rescue operation becomes something increasingly weird, and has puzzled Japanese authorities for decades. So the whole story around this begins the afternoon of July 24th, 1989, in Daisetsuwan National Park, located in the center of the northern Japanese island of Hokkaido. Two men from Tokyo were mountaineering on the path from Mount Kurodaki to Mount Asahidake when they became lost. And so rather than following the path, they turned around, they started heading south toward the Chubetsugawa River. So when the two men didn't arrive like as expected, the alarm bell was raised and the Hokkaido police sent out a rescue helicopter to look for them. It was like a big search area, especially since the two men had like so deviated from their planned route. But luckily, the police soon came across a massive, like really huge SOS sign made up of 19 birch trees, each about 5 meters, like give or take 50, like 16 feet long. And the police couldn't see the men at the SOS site, but they found the two guys like about 2 to 3 kilometers north of the sign. And the helicopter swooped down, picked them up. But it was like considered another successful rescue for the Hokkaido police force. But then it got weird because upon boarding the helicopter, the men were like debriefed by the police. They were given food, they were given water. One rescuer remarked how resourceful it had been of the two men to build such an impressive sign. And the two men from Tokyo had absolutely no idea what the officer was referring to. They had nothing to do with this big SOS sign. So the helicopter then quickly circles back to show the two that had been rescued, like the sign that had been basically their salvation, and they had never seen it before. It was basically nothing short of a miracle that they had become lost so close to the sign that was already there. So then this sort of like chilling realization it hits the police, right? Because they're like, oh my God, somebody else is out there, like on the mountain, and they need help. So it was at that point too late in the day to send out another rescue team, like darkness was falling, whatever. So the police just had to hope that whoever was stranded out in the mountains would survive until the next like morning. So the next day, July 25th, 1989, a second search and rescue operation begins. The SOS was about 2.5 miles from the summit of Mount Asahidake, and the police searched the area very thoroughly. Um, and they're searching and they're looking and they find numerous human bone fragments close to where the SOS site is.
Ooh.
I know. Most of them have traces of animal bites. Some of the bones were broken either while the person was alive, which is, giving the police a clue as to maybe what their ultimate fate was, although arguably some of these things could have happened after because of time. But anyway, the police continue to search and they make another like macabre discovery. So in a hole really close to the SOS, like just big enough to squeeze in a single person, they find an abandoned backpack. And in the bag were four cassette tapes, a tape recorder, like a little bit of jewelry, a tripod, a pair of men's basketball shoes, two cameras, and a notebook. And there was also a human skull, as well as a driver's license belonging to a 25-year-old male called Kenji Iwamura. So police go through this shit, and they soon learn that Kenji was like an office worker from Konan in the Aichi prefecture. He had gone missing 5 years earlier on July 10th, 1984, after setting out on a hiking trip in the region. Um, a week after that July 10th, the year prior, the alarm had been raised when he failed to turn up for work, and police searched for him at the time, but he had essentially disappeared without a trace at that point. So, unsurprisingly, the police concluded that the bones and skull they found probably belonged to poor Kenji, and the remains were sent to the Asahikawa Medical University, where the case took another very weird turn. So, medical examiners over there identified the bones as actually belonging to a woman, 20 to 40 years of age. So it's like it's bizarre, right?
Yeah.
So it was at this point the Hokkaido police decide, okay, well we've got these cassette tapes and this tape recorder, like let's play this shit. Maybe there's some clues as to what is going on. So on one tape, they find a recording of a young man who can be heard shouting for 2 minutes and 17 seconds, and he can be heard saying like, and this is like roughly translated, I guess, but basically SOS, help me, I can't move on the cliff, SOS, help me. And it says the place is where I first met the helicopter. The sasa, which I guess is like a type of bamboo, is deep and you can't go up. Lift me up from here. Um, so that one tape had that message on loop basically for 2 minutes and 17 seconds. Then the police were like a little surprised to discover that the other tapes had music from like various popular anime TV shows. But upon interviewing an acquaintance of Iwamura, they learned that he had been carrying tapes of anime themes tunes at the time. So this backpack belonged to him. It seems the same person also stated that the basketball shoes were the correct size and very likely his. So then the officers also consult the Japan Forestry Agency and the Japan Geographical Authority. Both agencies looked at like an old topographic map of data and they found aerial photographs that confirmed the SOS sign had been on the mountainside since at least September 20th of 1987, probably earlier. So 1987 is still 3 years after he went missing. But then things were starting to like kind of line up, right? But they still had the human remains to explain. Like, not only was the skeleton said to be that of a woman and not a 25-year-old male, but medical examiners were also claiming that the bones might belong to more than one person. So now investigators are thinking, based on all of this, like that two men and a woman had gone missing at the park. But they only had Iwamura's belongings to work with. There was no record of a missing woman, and those who knew Iwamura said he would have gone hiking alone. It was like, I guess, like a thing he did. So, who was this woman? What was her relationship to Iwamura? And this question caused like a lot of confusion and like shit around the investigation and like speculation from the media, all that fun shit. So, finally, February 28th, 1990, it's announced that the bones have been re examined. And now, all of a sudden, the police believe that they belong to one skeleton, which was actually male and not female, and most likely Kenji Iwamura had died on the mountainside and the skeleton was all his. And the case was near enough closed. But basically, this doesn't mean that everybody was like satisfied with the final conclusion. And personally, it seems like a little, I guess, like rushed to me because they're like, no,
Two.
wait, two men and a woman. Just kidding, it's one guy. Like, I mean, that's like a big jump.
It feels a little too case closed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there are still basically a handful of questions that, like, to this day, like, some people, like, don't believe, have satisfactory answers, and I happen to agree. So, ironically, the biggest concern is who made the SOS sign, and I'll tell you why. The letters were made by stacking, like, large, very large, heavy fallen birch trees, and experts estimate that it would have taken 2 days and an incredible amount of effort to make such a large sign. So it's a problem. The problem being, it's hard to believe that Kenji would have been able to build such a sign. After an autopsy of the skeleton, examiners referred to its owner as thin and weak, declaring there was no way he would have been able to make the sign on his own. If you factor in the fact that that sign took 2 days, he's probably without any substantial food source, probably limited water. Like, it doesn't make sense. It also was pointed out very interestingly that there was, like, no axe ever found near the site, and there's, like, relatively clean cuts on this.
Um,
Right? So there's also the fact that the examiners, of course, believe that the bones were fractured prior to death, most likely from falling from a pretty substantial height. So this makes it even more unlikely that he was, like, getting up and fucking around making this sign with these big ass trees. Unless he built it, grew tired of waiting, tried to climb to safety and fell. I don't know. That could have been the order of things, maybe. Um,
I'm uncomfortable.
it's weird.
Yeah.
The final mystery kind of revolves around the tape recording itself. So it's been speculated that the guy on the recording was attempting to record himself so that if he did become too weak to speak, he could play the recording for any potential rescuers. And perhaps he left it on, recording his, like, final pleas for help. It is widely believed that the man on the recording is Iwamura, but his parents actually aren't so sure. I guess the police, like, played the tape for them, and they weren't able to confirm or deny that it was their son's voice on the tape. Like, I'm going to tell you right now, if police played a recording of my voice, and it doesn't matter what state I was in, like, my parents would be able to identify me in a second.
Yeah. Your
Like, in a
parents,
second.
I would. Like,
Yeah.
also, we
Yeah.
have all this evidence right here of being able to compare. Like,
Yes. Non.
but like,
Unfortunately,
I
Kenji
feel
wasn't
very,
running a podcast.
I
Yeah.
feel very confident that if it were me, that my husband, my parents could
Totally.
identify. That if it were my husband, I could identify. That if it was you, that I could identify. Like,
Like,
when it's
say
somebody
he
you love, you could identify their voice. It's just,
totally, and say he had been shouting for, like, days, for hours straight, even if he was hoarse. Like, I know that the people who know me very well would still be able to
yeah,
recognize
no, I'm
me.
like, I
Like,
know your sick voice.
yeah. So,
Like,
like, the whole thing's very strange. So I guess the big question around it is, like, what the hell happened to Kenji? The most likely explanation that people feel is that he was hiking alone, he got lost, he somehow managed to build this SOS sign before ultimately succumbing to these injuries and, possibly the elements and therefore also animal predators at some point.
yeah,
As for the doubts surrounding his ability to build the sign, the argument is that desperate people are capable of very amazing things. I will say this, adrenaline does do a lot for a person. But at the same time, if you're in a weakened state, I don't know how much that adrenaline is still going to help. Like, I don't know.
yeah.
So, I mean, I don't think this is ever going to be the type of thing that gets solved. I mean, he's been missing since 1984. Um, so what, 40 plus years now? And, like, I mean, could it be that he did go up the mountain with someone else, or he met somebody along the way and they were hiking together and they just left him there to die, or, like, I don't know, some sort of foul play? But I mean, because, like, stranger things have happened. But in the end, I mean, a lot of times, I guess the most reasonable answer is the correct one. But I don't know. The long and short of it is that we know he went up the mountain alone. He died up there alone, and it's, he serves as kind of a constant warning to other mountaineers to take the hobby, like, very seriously.
That's insane.
I know. Um, there is a little bit more detail that I found about, like, that bamboo grove that he, like, mentions on his recording. So, and the reason, like, let me give a little more background too, is, like, the reason why people also know that he had been staying at, like, a lodge, like, nearby, and he had told the lodge owner that he was going on a quick hike. Um, and then it says that, like, the lodge owner reported it when he failed to check out. But then, like, another thing told me no, his job did because he didn't show up for a week. So I don't know really which one to believe, but if he was staying at the lodge, I would put it on the lodge owner probably. Um, and the owner basically reported it because he failed to check out and leaving his belongings behind aside from this backpack that he supposedly had with him. Um, and but it said that like so the hike itself that he took was supposed to be a pretty short hike up, but on the way back down there are two large boulders that look very identical and are often used as landmarks. The first boulder is near a trail that crosses back and leads to a steep cliff. The second heads down back to town basically, and so it's really easy to confuse the two. And even more so if like the weather was wonky or anything like that. Since the first boulder leads to a steep cliff with bamboo shrubs nearby, the assumption is also that like that was the area that he was talking about on the tape recording. Um, but his body was found a little bit away from that, like in this sort of like wetlands area near a larger river. It's also argued that like a scavenging animal could have like dragged his body there. I don't know. So regardless, the whole thing around it is murky. I don't know what I believe happened to this dude because it's the whole thing's and again like I said, the police just like all of a sudden made a really like strong claims that there was like no, it was three people, and then they're like kidding,
Just
psych,
kidding.
it was actually one dude alone. Like that's like a
It
big
just feels weird, and also again like it feels
big leap.
too. It feels yeah, very big leap, but also just like okay, case closed,
Yeah, and it's strange to
open
me that
shut,
like his bones were found next to this hole that was enough to fit a human, and down in the hole was the skull and the backpack, but the rest of the bones weren't in there. And like I get it, yeah,
and
maybe an
like
animal could have
why?
done that, but also like why would he spend his energy to dig a hole that's the size of himself? But like I don't know anything about camping. Is that like a survival thing? I don't know, like to stay warm. I don't know. But also it's the summer in Japan, so it's fucking humid and hot as hell, right? So
Yeah,
I don't know.
that just makes
I'm
sense.
stumped. I'm totally stumped. Um, but that is the Mount Asahidake SOS incident. Very interesting stuff. So thank you, honorary cousin Michael. This was a fun one to research, and I feel
As
bad.
confusing as that was, you did an excellent job covering it. Like phenomenal job.
Thank you, Borsti. It was a yeah. Like I honestly, I don't know what I think.
It's this one's puzzling. It
I mean, I do see the rationale, right? Like this guy goes
yeah.
up alone and like shit happens, like whatever. But also like the sign is a really weird factor, and the hole and the back and forth on the types of bones. And I don't know. There's too many weird factors to it.
It's really odd. It
Yeah,
I mean, hi oddities.
here
It's
we are.
about
It fits the bill. Yeah. So I don't know.
jeez.
I'd be curious to know what the listeners think
Yeah. Please let
of
us know.
Cuervo. Please let us know. Let us know your thoughts on both of these cases. Um, That first one, you did a great job on it. That was a heavy one, and that guy deserves to
Rot
like,
in
frankly, be
prison.
dead. Yeah, I mean, I think he should be dead, but yeah. Um, I mean, I guess I would say until next time.
Stay strange.